Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 7 PowerApps Learning SharePoint with PowerApps. Quick recap of yesterday's class. In yesterday, we have discussed about various types of creating SharePoint list in SharePoint portal, and also we learned how we can create a list, SharePoint list from an Excel, and also we notice that how we can attach that SharePoint list onto Power App, right? So any questions on yesterday's class? I repeat, any questions on yesterday's class? Okay, great. In today's class, we will do deep dive on the same topic, but in today's class, we will learn how to leverage those SharePoint lists on a gallery, and also we will learn some of the customization on gallery, and we will discuss about some important properties of gallery. Okay, I'm just coming onto my same old SharePoint list we have created yesterday. Coming onto site content. Today I'm going to create a SharePoint list on basis of two Excel files. I'm going to create with the help of these two Excel files. Okay. Create list from Excel, device order data. I'm going to create two lists. One is devices and the manufacturers. So first list is going to create with this. If you notice here closely, it is creating various data types depending on the data in the Excel. Okay, create. Don't worry, I will provide you both the Excel files in WhatsApp so that you can leverage the same Excel files. Again, go back. I'm going to create one more SharePoint list with the same file, but this time I'm going to use another table in that SharePoint list, sorry, in that Excel. Did you notice that it is immediately identifying whether that SharePoint list is existed or not existed? And if you examine the Excel has two sheets, and both sheets are formatted with two different two different tables, and each table is given with some name. That is the name we were able to see while creating SharePoint list. Got it? Now coming back to site content again, and list with historical device orders. Okay, looks like this is not formatted. Okay, this is the one. This is a transactional table. So what they have not formatted, this is how it will come. So we don't need it. Okay, forget about it. So we created two SharePoint lists. One is device order data and other one is manufacturers. Okay, device order data, which has device name, manufacturer name, device ID, manufacturer ID, all the other details. Now, if I go back to the Power App and I wanted to map those two SharePoint lists onto my Power App, how I can do? Just click on Add, which is to add the database to Power App. For after that, click on Add Data, SharePoint, because my data source is from SharePoint. I'm going to use the data source as SharePoint and select one of the existing connections and followed by select the SharePoint site and then select device order data and manufacturers. Connect. It has associated both the SharePoint lists onto my Power App. Now I'm creating a label, adding a label, height as 75 and just provide some background color and foreground color as white, center 35, device details. Okay, and if you are so passionate about the formats, fonts, you can always change that. Okay, now the interesting part, gallery. Now, today we focus mostly on gallery. Observe the types of gallery. Now, mostly you might get it like this. I am using a very big screen, so I could see gallery here, but you might see like this gallery over here. Don't get worried that you are not able to see gallery. Under insert, just ensure that you validate every option here. At the end, if you see this small drop down, click on the drop down and then you can see gallery here. Okay, now click on the gallery. Notice that there are six type of galleries you can add onto a Power App screen. But if you closely monitor, vertical, blank vertical, horizontal, blank horizontal, flexible, blank flexible. What is the difference between these two rows if you notice closely? One is with the controls and the other one is without controls. I repeat, one is with the control and the other one is without control. And these three are three type of orientations. These three are three type of orientations. I want my control to be rendered or I want my control to be displayed in this fashion. One is a vertical fashion and the other one is horizontal fashion and the last one is flexible height. Let's pass flexible height for a minute. What is a vertical? I want my controls to be aligned in a vertical fashion, meaning one after other in a stack, right? In your data structures vocabulary. I am following or I am placing all my controls like a stack. And here I am placing all my controls one after other in a row. But here I am placing my controls in a vertical fashion, but my height of the row is flexible height. We will see this in a minute. First, let's discuss the difference between these two one more time. Vertical and blank vertical. Only the difference is when you add a gallery with this option, you will get a gallery get added onto the screen with some controls by default in gallery. But here you will not have any controls on the gallery by default. Let's see that. I added a gallery with vertical. Now let's go ahead and add blank vertical. Now if you expand that, I see one separator, which is a row separator, and the next icon is to take my user onto the next icon, next screen or next action, and subtitle is this, and title is that, and image in that. Okay. Now I'm going to add one more, but this time I'm adding blank vertical. If you notice here, the blank vertical is exactly the same, but I have not got any controls in that gallery. By default, I don't have any controls. However, if I change my mind from regular vertical to blank vertical or blank vertical to regular vertical, I can change by coming onto layout on the properties on the right hand side. Remember students, when I add a gallery onto the screen, I can change the orientation or I can change the layout from with controls to without controls or without controls to with controls. Example, I have added the gallery as a blank vertical gallery, but now I wanted to change that to a controlled gallery. Now I just select that. The time I say that, see there is no difference between this gallery and this gallery now. Similarly, now if I want to change the orientation or the behavior of my first gallery, I can come here and I can change that to a blank vertical gallery. So typically these two are same. Similarly, these two are same. These two are same. But Microsoft has given a flexibility to user in such a way that if user want to add with controls or without controls at the beginning, they can choose their decision. They can respect their decision by adding the appropriate control. But later point, if they want to change their orientation, if they want to change their behavior of the gallery, they can change by changing the layout of the gallery. Now, one important point is, remember, once you add the gallery onto the screen, you cannot switch the orientation. You can change the behavior from with control to without control, without control to with control. But unfortunately, you cannot change the orientation or you cannot change the standard template. Meaning, if I just add a vertical gallery, unfortunately, there is no way I can change the gallery. Excuse me. I cannot change the gallery from a vertical gallery to horizontal or a vertical gallery to flexible height. So just be very vigilant on that point. Now Let me go ahead and delete this gallery and come here. Now what I wanted to say this, just title and subtitle. And now I need to associate the table with one of the SharePoint list. I'm going to associate that with the device order data and change that with image. And now let's spend 1 or 2 minutes on the device order data. In device order data, I have the company name and the device ID, manufacturer name, device name. Aspire is the Aspire U is the name of the device, but here the device name is a combination of the company and the device name. So well-known device is manufacturers filter by, say like Dell company. So Inspiron 17 is the type of laptop, but here if you notice device name, it is a concatenation of the manufacturer name and also the name of the laptop. And what is the type of the device? Is laptop, ultrabook, all-in-one, or tablet. These are the types, and we also got a price, and we also got something called photo or thumbnail. Let's copy one of this and see what it is rendering here. It is rendering a image, but here it is rendering a very tiny image. But if I just render the same as a regular image, the size of image is just varies. A thumbnail is always a tiny image, but whereas regular image is a very bigger when you compare with the thumbnail. Now let us show that as part of this image under the gallery. Now select that image. Here what I wanted to show, I want to show the image, right? Now fields, image is what I want to show. Now image as gallery. Okay, 1 second. Before that, first property is what? Items property. Device order data. It shows all the device information what we are rendering as part of this SharePoint, as part of this gallery from SharePoint list. Remember, this is only a preview. This is not the end of the list. This is only a preview. There could be more than what you see here. Example, I see only 100 records there, but when you look at the device order data, I have 101 records. Okay, so do not think that what you see here is the final information. This is only a sneak peek of the data, what you are associating to that gallery. Okay, second thing, if you want to see the data, what is associating with what, just select that label and notice that this item dot title, this item is referring to that particular record you are rendering into that gallery row. I repeat, this item is pointing to a particular record, each and every record of the SharePoint list or the database. Now, if you see, this is the ID, device ID, and this one is title. Title is what? Device name. So what? I see all the device names here. Now, if I want to associate my image control of the gallery with the image in the SharePoint list, what I have to say? This item, which is getting me my current record, dot, what is the name of that column? The column name is thumbnail dot thumbnail. See that? Photo. There it is. Now, what I got? I got the photo, whatever has been associated with this each and every entry. Okay. Now, let me just raise this gallery. If you notice, I just adjusted the Y position of Chandra. Thank you. So I adjusted the Y position of this gallery by just moving gallery here and there. But if I just want to automatically get adjust right after this heading of the screen, what I can do is, remember, this position is called Y position. This position is called X position. X is I wanted to mention at the beginning of the screen. I don't want to waste this space. So what I will say X as 0, but Y as right after this heading, right? What is this? I'm going to say LBL heading. Now, where I have my heading, LBL heading dot Y position plus LBL heading dot height. So what I'm doing, I'm just saying that wherever my label height Y position, which is this position, plus the height of that, it automatically comes right after that heading. Now, what is the width of my gallery? This is the width of my gallery. I will say parent dot width. What is the parent of the gallery? Screen. Whatever the screen's width, I'm going to set that to my gallery. Are you able to follow me, students? And what is the height of my gallery is, go to height. Now, parent dot height, which is the screen height, minus, I have two controls on the screen. One is the gallery and the other one is my label heading. I have to subtract the label heading height to get the desired height for my gallery. Now, if you notice, my gallery has aligned with the proper height. Now I'm saying that this is gallery GAL device details, isn't it? Now here I'm going to say LBL device ID. Always follow the best practices. Never ever leave any control with the standard naming convention. What you get when you add the control onto the app, just give proper names, device name, and always follow the camel notation, img device photo. Okay, now the next thing we want to do here is customizing the gallery to show the same information in more interactive way. What is that? First thing is I wanted to show the same information in a tail orientation, and we will customize further down with various other formats. Okay, now first thing is I wanted to change the wrap count to 3. See what happens. There it is. The same thing I could see now. as three devices in one row because I mentioned the wrap count as three. If I say wrap count four, I could see four. It is little crowdy. Let's say three. Three is more readable way. But I wanted to give a proper what you call the boxing on each and every tile. Okay, how could I do that is I can just say template fill color. When I come here, there is a property called template fill color. Now go to Google, say um, color picker. If you say color picker, you could see the color and you could also see the RGB and hexadecimal value. Why do I need hexadecimal value and RGB here? If you see here it is RGBA. R is red, green, blue, and aperture. Aperture means that how thick you want to see that control on the how thick you want to see the color on the screen. Example, I wanted to add one label here and I am just filling that with this color. And if I go to this fill property of this label, and what is this mentioned? 1, and the 0 is complete transparent. Now if I say 0.5, notice that transparency of that same fill color is 50%. Now if I say 3, 30% transparency. If I say 7, 70%, 80%, 90% transparency. But when I say 100% fill color, no transparency at all. But the same thing if I say zero point 0.1, just 0.1% of the color will be filled and more transparent. How could I see the same thing is if I come here and say custom, here also I could see aperture color. And this one is the one when I just raise this, notice that it is just coming and this A value is increasing. It is 100 means equal to 1. Okay. Very important because that is the one we are going to play most of the times to make your tile look different or gallery look different. Okay. Now I wanted to say probably I wanted to fill with some radiant color and this one, and this is the RGBA for that. Select that and come here and place that here and say 1. This has filled each and every tile. Now what I need to give a padding, say padding as 3. Now notice everything is coming in a tiled orientation. Now if I just give one more, probably 2 more pixel, now it has come a proper tile orientation, wasn't it? Now I want to give another thing as give some more thick color to give some more elegant or more better way. And then if I want the next button, I can leave it as it is. If not, I can delete. Now, if you notice here, it is more and more authentic way. And but the device ID I want as a first element and device name as a second element. So say that copy device. Sorry, this is title, but this guy as device ID. Now I see device ID as first one and this one as the second element. See that this is one orientation I have changed my gallery. The same gallery is rendering in a different way now, isn't it? Any questions? You should know how to customize your gallery because that is the key for your Power App. This is one approach. Let's add a gallery. Let's add one more screen and add one more gallery here. Students, are you able to follow or no? I'm adding one more vertical gallery, or this time let's add as a horizontal gallery, and again add device order. And notice now what I wanted to do. I wanted to provide my gallery positioning dynamically or associate with formulas. Now LBL row heading is my heading name, followed by LBL row heading dot height, and the width of this is parent dot width. Also height is what? Parent dot height minus LBL heading row heading dot height. That gives me the exact positioning of that, right? But if you notice, this one is coming with a horizontal approach with a scroller here. Last time what we got a vertical approach, but we changed the orientation to see side by side, three column orientation. But here it automatically started rendering my items as a horizontal fashion. Now, just again, same old thing. I'm just changing as row device details and the image as img or device photo. Come select that, and this item dot photo and these two, I don't want this as the device id. I would say first one as the device id and then as name of the device. And notice that I got all the devices one after other in a horizontal fashion. But if you notice for this also I have wrap count as 1. Change the wrap count to 2. The same thing, but here this time I got the controls one after other in a horizontal fashion. Did you notice that? But one thing is that it is not too interactive, isn't it? Did you notice that the label of these controls is has moved out because the orientation is meant to show the images in a horizontal fashion like a album. Okay, so never play with orientation or a wrap count when you create a gallery or as a horizontal gallery. This is the second orientation or second approach of aligning or rendering the data in a gallery. Now, third approach. I am just showing you all the possible ways. I will be giving you all these things as homework. Notice and ask me if you have any question. I'm adding again a vertical one and device order data and this X position is 0, Y position is LBL row heading dot Y plus height of that, and width is parent dot width, and the formula is dot height, but parent dot height minus that. Okay, now I got it. Now just associate this with this item dot photo, but this time I'm not going to change the wrap count of the gallery. I'm going to leave the wrap count as 1, but I'm going to add every other details of this gallery or the item. Now I wanted to change this height of this image to say like probably 70 pixel width and 70 pixel height, and the row template height also, it has come up with some formula. I don't care about the formula, rather I'll say it as 70 pixel by default. Okay, probably 75. Right, now just position the controls of the gallery appropriately. And the next one is device ID. Just hold the control and move it appropriately. Now I don't want this to be the first element of the row. I want the device ID to be the first. You can always change that here. It's like this, and come to this. Now I want the device name to be started right after this device ID. How I can do that is say LBL device ID. I'm just labeling my control LBL or device ID. Copy this one, the X position. Remember, this one is X positioning, right? I am going to say LBL device ID dot X plus dot width. It comes right after that. Okay, and the Y position is LBL device ID dot Y. It comes right after that with the same Y position and everything same. Just say center align is automatically get center aligned, and just increase the width of that probably to 250 pixel, so that if you have a long name will also get fit in. But if you notice here, this name of this device is trimmed out. If you don't want to lose that, you can always say that label as auto height. When you say auto height, the text will automatically wrapped into the next line, but it is running out of that. So what you could do is select the row and increase the height of the row, correct? But you don't know how big the text of this device name, how many pixel you will change that. For now just change it to 90. I'll show you how you could place that dynamically so that it will render automatically for each and every row, which is a flexible height gallery. Now that also I have added. Now I want to add some more labels to show the rest of the information what I have for that device. Now add, select this pencil icon and click on another label. This has come up with manufacturer ID. No, I don't want manufacturer ID. Rather, I want Manufacturer's name. What is the name of the column? Manufacturer name. Say that, manufacturer name. One more um, label in that. Now the price. One more label. This time I wanted to add what is the processor. Again, auto height. So it gets the processor name properly. 200 pixel. One more label to show the memory. And what else we have? Important information. Storage limit. Select more than one control and say center align. Okay, and notice that these controls were not aligned properly the Y position. How I could do that is select the Y position and say the Y position of label or device ID, LBL or device ID dot Y. Now if you notice, every control Y position is aligned properly. Now what I want the labels to be run next to each other, like the way how I have mentioned the X position of this device name, correct? Now copy that, sorry, give a name to the device name. Now this one is manufacturer name, right? Man F name, manufacturer's name, and this one is the position of this is what? LBLR device name dot X plus LBL or device name dot width, right? So this comes right after that, isn't it? Guys, are you able to follow me or no? LBLR price, and the position of X is the previous controls X position dot width, and this one is R. So X position is dot X plus dot width, and the label or name I want to give is LBL or processor name, PROC name, processor name, and the next control is this, say this one as X dot width, correct? This one is this provided X, this one also done, but this one is LBL or RAM, and the X position of this is gonna be RAM's X position dot width. Now if you notice, the controls have aligned automatically, right? It is aligned exactly one after other. LBLR storage. This is called relative positioning. What is called? This is called relative positioning in the gallery. I don't want any control to sit with a space between the controls. Now the controls are relatively positioned so that it looks very neat and clean. Now just reduce the size of this to probably 15 to make it more readable and easy. Now it is good, it's readable. Now let's go ahead and give some fill color, template fill color to show each and every row in a different fashion. Now select template fill color, give some other color, probably. Now select all the labels on that and just change the text color to white. And now select the gallery and give the gallery this one as padding as 5 pixel. I know I'm horrible on colors. Just be comfortable and just do whatever the colors you wanted to do on that. Okay. This is also worst, but somewhat different. Sorry, I'm very bad in color picking. I take help from my kids. My kids are much better than me. So I just take help from them. So you are also feel comfortable. I'm not expecting you to follow my colors. Okay, this color I wanted to show you various ways to, you know, show the data on that data on the gallery. Now I just wanted to give the separator fill color, probably a red color, just to show you there is a separator one after other, and select height as 2. There you go. This is another orientation. This time I just showed, I have presented all my data in a row orientation, but here I have presented all the various other details of my SharePoint list. But if you notice, it is very hard for the user to understand what is what. So always remember to give a heading for the gallery. Now let me pull this down and give a heading for the gallery. In Power Apps, always remember to reduce the number of controls you are using as part of your uh, app. So if you want to give a heading, there are two ways. One is give a label and separate the names with a tab, meaning I just added a label here and just say parent dot width, and then start giving the text in that, saying like give a tab device ID, and again give one more space or a tab to show that device ID appropriately. Do you see that? Now it has come the device ID right above the device ID. And now again give two more tabs as device name. There is nothing wrong in this approach. There's nothing wrong. It is one of the way. Okay. Say 15, and now notice that it is just misaligned. Again tab manufacturer's name. price. Always remember, students, we are very keen about the number of controls we are using on the app. Microsoft is very clearly mentioned that try to create the app with minimal controls for the best performance. So what I am trying to explain or educate you how best we could create a gallery heading, okay, with the minimal controls. Okay. Now I'll just raise the height to probably, sorry, rise to height to 45 pixel and just give some background color or something like this. Forgive me on my horrible color codes. There it is. And now the gallery height will be parent dot height minus label 8 dot height minus label um, R heading. Is that R heading or what is the name? Row heading dot height, right? Because I need to subtract the height of these two controls from the parent height to get the accurate height of this gallery, isn't it? Now, if you notice, I can see the name of the row item appropriately. What is this value is associated with? This is another approach which I can just show you as part of this gallery. Are you able to follow me? Here, if you notice here, I have presented this gallery in tile, here horizontal, here row orientation. Most of the times you will use either vertical or flexible height. Only the time you will use the horizontal is when you have to present images in a uh, row orientation or like a album. You want to show all the device information or all the college anniversary event photos one after other. If you want to show that, you can show a horizontal gallery so that it will just come one after other with a scroller at the bottom. Or if you see here, I don't want the scroller here. Now you can, what you can do is you can just turn off the scroller and the show navigation. And if you notice here, I got a right icon here. Okay, you can just do that as well. Now I don't see the what you call the horizontal scroller, rather I see a navigation here. And why do I see a border around it? Just I have the border as solid. I say border none. Now if you see, I don't see any border around it. This is how I can change the behavior or what you call the effect of the gallery. These are the various ways. Last one is flexible height. If you try to remember, the gallery row is this label. We have mentioned the height of the row because we have increased the height of the template row because the name of the device is running next or away from the row. But if I don't want that to happen, and if I want that to come automatically, how we could do that is create a gallery with flexible height. Flexible height heading. But this time, what am I doing? I'm going to add flexible height gallery. Come here, and I'm going to add flexible height. Device order details. Again, Y position is LBL FH heading dot Y plus, okay, and the width is parent dot width. What is the orientation we have added? This is the orientation we have added, and I don't want this image. All I want is see this. It is coming with a formula Y, because the ID of the item, they have mentioned given a formula, but that formula, if we don't want, we can always just move it out. But basic funda is we want to change the template size to say like 70, 75, and move this into here. This item dot photo, and the ID has to go Y position is select probably 5 pixel, comes here. Give some template fill color. This time let's use some lighter color. And notice that I have a padding of 4, so what I see the gaps between the line, and observe the difference. This time I have not got this separator here. Did you notice that? I have not got this separator here, but the row height will get increased automatically by just changing the label auto height, and the width I'm going to mention intentionally. I'm mentioning the width as 50 pixel. Okay. And now this one is come here, and template size is max of the labels I have as part of the gallery rows. See this title 8 dot height, comma, um, body 1 dot height, whichever is the maximum height. Now if you play the app, why the hell you are not coming? Template size is this. What is the height? Maximum is 98, so it should come automatically. So this one, okay. Let's say the Y position is say 5 pixel, or probably 4 pixel. If I just give the width as 65, 60. Now notice the height of this row and this row. Did you notice the height is difference? The difference in height, the height aspire E has come here, and but this one has aligned here. Intentionally I have given. Notice the difference between this height of this row and this row. Are you able to follow me or no? Students, are you able to follow me? I want the row height to be flexible. Flexible height gallery always comes automatically. That behavior you will not be able to see on the regular gallery. This will be more handy if your gallery has to render unpredicted data. When what is unpredicted data is when you are rendering the student information wherein you have student information with address. One student has given address as a massive address with 7 8 lines, but whereas one a student has given one line of address, that will only be able to help when you use flexible height gallery. The flexible height gallery will not be handy at the design mode, but it will render appropriately when you play the app. Okay, now if I just reduce the font of this with 15. Now if you play the app, again the height gets automatically get adjust. Getting, are you able to notice that? So this is how I can align the gallery in a particular fashion and with a particular formatting. Any questions so far? Good. Now the next option we are going to implement here is filtering the gallery. Now let me align it into left and give a left padding of 25 just to say device details in a different way. And I wanted to add two drop downs here. Depending on my drop down value selection, I want to show the gallery data. I repeat, I don't want to show the data, all the data of the list items. If you notice here, I'm showing all the data. Now I want to filter the data. Now how I can do that is go ahead and add the drop down on the screen, but this drop down I wanted to show the name of the device, or sorry, name of the manufacturer. When I select Acer, I want to show only Acer, some Acer related rows here in the gallery. And I say Asus, Asus, Dell, Dell, HP, HP related. Got it? Are you able to follow me? Now here I want to say the data. Come here, I can just say what is the data type of each and every column here. I have everything as simply mentioned as a single line of text. But if I just change the device name into choice, because I have the device names in such a way that repeated values. So let me go ahead and delete this device order data list and recreate the same list. Delete this list and recreate. I'm just recreating the same list. I'm not doing anything else other than recreating the list. But I wanted to change the manufacturer's name. Okay. Now the manufacturer name, I don't want that as a single line of text. Rather, I want it as a choice. See the difference, how it will show. And also the uh, processor also, I want to show it as a choice. Also, I want to show the memory also into choice. Three things. I have placed three controls into choice. Now, next, create the list and notice this time how that will differentiate the list settings. Now, if you go onto gear icon, list settings, now this time my manufacturer is a choice, processor is a choice, and memory is a choice. How does that differentiate is when you select the list item, this time manufacturer comes in a drop down. Why do I need that is I want to show that manufacturers in a drop down. Okay. Now just come here and say refresh. When you refresh the data source in PowerApp, it will pick up the latest changes defined on the list. Say refresh. See that? The reason why I got this one is I deleted that device order data and I created another one. Just remove that. SharePoint, this one, device order data. But notice manufacturer is coming with the error, processor is coming with the error, RAM is coming with the error because these controls are no more single line of text. They are now as a choice. So always choice had to be defined dot value. Getting me? Now here I can say device order details dot manufacturer dot sorry, choices of device manufacturers, sorry, device order data dot manufacturers. Now I will get all the manufacturers as part of my drop down. There it is. Are you able to follow me? Also I have one more list as manufacturers, right? No, in my SharePoint site content, what do I have? One more list as manufacturers. Here I have all the manufacturers details here, isn't it? If I want, I can show all the manufacturer names also as part of that drop down. Now I have mentioned the drop down data with all the manufacturers. Now my intention is I want to filter this data in such a way that whatever the manufacturer name I selected in this drop down, as I said, I want to filter that data. Okay, let's first go with a smaller one. I'll just say text field. Here, I want to remove the input mask. First, I'll give the device ID. That device should only come as part of my gallery. Say that txt device ID. Now go to gallery under items property. I need to filter the data. Say filter. Filter is a function. Provide the table name, comma, device ID. I want the device ID equal to txt device ID dot text. Okay. Since I don't have anything under that, I got the blank. Say 5. See that? And 125. Whatever the ID I provide, that is I could see as part of my share, my gallery. Okay. But if I want to see all the details by default, but if I want to see only the device ID, if I provide any device ID here, how could I do that is, if the text is having a value, then I have to follow that. If not, I don't have to follow that. So if is blank of device ID or that. Now what I'm saying, if my text box is blank, show everything. It is our condition. Either one is true. Either this is true or this is true. In this case, it is true and this is false. So true or false is always true. So it is getting all the data. Now, if I just say 25, it gets only 25. If I say 5, it gets only 5. So which means that whichever the condition is satisfying, that related information I'm getting. Now again, here I'm saying is blank of the text box. If the text box is blank or my device ID is equal to the ID I provided as part of my text box, show me. Whichever the condition is true, my gallery has to show as per the condition satisfied. Now, if the text box is blank or device ID equal to this, device ID equal to text box dot text will be false, but is blank of the text box is true. But if I just say these two, ultimately this true or false is always true. So it gets all the information in the SharePoint list. But the time I say some value as part of my text box, search text box, this becomes false, but this becomes true because I am going to provide some value within the range of 100. Are you guys able to follow me? Now, the next condition is I wanted to also say as and device manufacturer's name is equal to the selected value of my drop down, right? Manufacturer's name dot manufacturer name dot value equal to my drop down one dot selected dot value. Okay, now see what happens if I just say Dell. I could see only the information of Dell. You see that? Now if I say Asus, I see only Asus. But under Asus, if I say 17, 17 and Asus. If I say 1, I don't see because the manufacturer name Asus and also my device ID is 1. If you notice, Asus is starting with 15. Now again, Lenovo is starting with 56 and ending with 69. If I say 15, my manufacturer's name as Lenovo and the ID of the device is 15 is not existed. So what I see it as that 59, I could see that. Now what I am doing, I am filtering my data on the gallery as per the user need. Yes or no, I'm giving multiple filters, multi-filtering. Now if I want one more filter for processor name or the RAM, I can give that also. Now processor dot value equal to, add one more drop down on the screen, but this time I'm going to say this one as the processor, right? Now copy the same formula here, paste it as, but this time what I want, processor. There it is, processor dot, no, is processor as the choice or no? Yeah, processor as choice. So that should come dot processor dot, uh, why it is not coming up? Yeah, there you go. It just took time. There it is. Now here, what I want, I wanted to give a processor value as drop down dot selected dot value, right? Now, if you see that, I got Lenovo 59 with the processor as that. Now, if I remove that and say as there you go, AMD processor with 72, sorry, 70 processor name. Now, if I say 12, I further drill down my gallery. Are you guys able to follow me? I'm just giving a processor name, also the manufacturer name, also I can provide the device ID. Okay, so this is how I can filter the gallery with the user search criteria. Hello, are you able to follow me? This is how I can give the user in a different orientation. I can just provide the same filter conditions in any orientation, no matter what orientation. This is the filter item property. Under item property, I am providing the formula how I want my data to be rendered uh, in the gallery. Okay. Now, once this is done, the next thing and very important one is forms. Forms in Power Apps plays a major role. There are two type of forms we will see in Power App by default are edit form and display form. These forms are basically used to show the selected item details in a proper form orientation or all the fields in an interactive orientation. Now go ahead and create the another screen, scr item details, and add a form under this. Okay, before that, let's give a heading to this screen as well. Selected device details, provide as 25, give the color and the font and it is semi bold, give it as probably 25 pixel. Okay, and here the form, I want the form right next to the heading, and here what I want to do, I want to show the selected item of the previous gallery. And now here, what is the gallery? This is the gallery. When I click on the pencil icon, I wanted to show the item here. Now what I can do is the first thing is on select of the pencil, I need to push the user onto that screen. What is the formula to do that is navigate. I'm navigating the user from one screen to another screen. What is the screen name? SCR item details. What I'm doing, I am just moving user from this screen to another screen. The next screen I want to take user is screen item details, which is the screen. Now if you play the app and click on that, there you go. And let's give one small back icon here under icons. You could add plus here and you can say back. There it is. Add it here, probably 45 pixel by 45 pixel, and just put it here. Give probably a 10 pixel left and give this. And on select of this icon, what I want is I want to take user back to navigate back to SCR row. See what happens. Now if I click on this, it comes here. If I click on this, it comes here. See that? Now, when I select this item, I want to pass the selected row onto the next screen. How I could do that is curly braces L where selected record of this item. Now, what I'm doing, I'm passing this item selected item onto the next screen. Why do I see the error is I need to say transition type. Transition second parameter is how the screen to be transition. Screen transition as none, followed by that. So when I want to pass the value from one screen to another screen, I always have to say how the screen had to change. So screen transition is nothing but the type of effect you wanted to give. Cover, meaning that when you place the book cover, when you turn the book cover, how it turns, that is the way it going to turn. Now if you just say that, there you did you notice that it is coming just as flash, but here it is coming as sliding. And now here I can always select the farm and give the data source as device order details. That is the database I'm going to provide to this. Another property, very important property to farm is item property. What is the item I wanted to show? Now here say lwhere selected record. Where I am getting that, I am passing this selected record from the previous screen. If you notice again one more time, here this I'm sending the user from this screen to screen item details. Also I'm sending the selected record onto the next screen. Now notice the device ID is 11 and device ID is 12 here. Now if I go on to the next screen by clicking on that, device ID is 12. How I'm getting? I am getting because I mentioned the item property as the selected record on the previous screen, and the data source is device order data. Okay, I don't want, if you don't want any of the items as part of the screen, you can as part of the form, you can select that and just click on delete, it will go off. Now you see this is the device information I am getting from the previous screen. Now let me go ahead and add two buttons here. This button is to submit and this button is to cancel. Okay, now as you guys know, I don't like the borders. Now if I want to push any changes back to the SharePoint list, what I can do is I can say submit farm of the farm name. What is the name of the farm here? Farm. So say FRM device details. The beauty with Power App is if you change the control name and if you use that control anywhere in the app, it automatically changes that. I just created the formula as submit farm of farm 1, but I changed the farm name to farm device details. It automatically changed, right? But remember students, I should not change the device ID. So make the device ID as simply read only. So how I could do that is display mode is locked because when you add the farm onto screen, each and every control on the farm will come with data cards. It comes with multiple data cards. Each and every field is a data card. By default, each and every data card comes in a locked orientation. It comes by as locked. If you want to make any changes on this particular data card or particular control, you need to first unlock that data card. So go to advanced, unlock the data card and select the text box. Change the behavior of the text box as I don't want this to be editable. So display mode dot view. So that becomes simply a viewable item. I cannot change that. Okay. Whatever the information I want to change here, I can change here. Now see here, I want to raise the device ID is item ID is 12. Let me go on to 12th record. What is the price I see here? 329.99. Now I just say it as $500 or 500 and say submit data. Now data got updated. I'm not giving interactive information, so what you could not see that. Now if I just refresh the data source here and come back here and see the price got updated to 500 because what I'm doing, I'm submitting my new information back to the table or SharePoint list. That is how I can quickly update the data on the SharePoint list. Okay. Any questions? Now what is the cancel? I can reset the farm changes. Now reset farm of farm details. How does this helps is I just made a change as $250 and screen size as 15 and this one as 1 TB. uh no, I don't want these changes to go through. Just click on that, it automatically revert those changes. Got it? And just say submit, it just updates. Now if I want to show an interactive message, I always can say submit information and say notify the user as record details updated successfully. And what is the type of the notification? Notification type is success and just a close. Or if you want to provide some particular time for the notification to be on the screen, you can say that 1000 means 1 second here, 2000 is 2 seconds, say 1000 and just say that. Now say like 150, say submit. There you go. And once the information is updated, user don't have to be on the screen, so I can always say navigate back to the record list record details, which is SCR row. Now see what happens. Now if I just update this to 450 and submit, it updated the record and it came back to here, isn't it? Students are able to follow me. And now if I want to see the latest updates or latest information on the gallery, you can add a refresh icon here, or reload icon, 40 40 pixel, and just say color as white. Now I can say a refresh of device order data. It always refresh the SharePoint list, like the way how you refresh here. Same thing I'm explicitly doing here. Now if I just refresh that, it just refresh the data with the latest information. Okay. Any questions? Because I have given 450 here. Now if I come here, say as 150 and submit, it has come 150. If you don't see that updated information, you can just refresh that. It will just reload the data. At times it won't come, so it is always the step to refresh the data. Okay, because it is very fast. You see this, it is, I am just changing here, submit, it immediately turning back. So at times it won't be able to get the data that quickly. Depends on the number of columns you are updating, depends on the internet speed. It just shows and it doesn't shows. Okay, any questions? Sir. Mhm. Default values, and you wanted to see all the details. Okay, very good. So drop down has a behavior of make the selection false, meaning that drop down I can say uh, default selection blank, allow empty selection as true, also allow empty selection as true. Manoj, that was the homework. Manoj, you made me to explain here. It's okay. That's okay, no problem. So when you change the device or drop down as the allow empty selection to true, it will not make immediately. Unfortunately, you will have to close the app and reopen the app. Let's do that. My goodness, what is the name of the app? Yeah, there you go. Edit the app. Now, if you go onto screen row, you will see the details properly. Now, if you go onto that, see that I have blank. Now here again, you will say and is blank. of the drop down again, or that. Okay, now this one, I'll say this. There it is. You see that? And again, here also we will add one more thing as is blank of drop down 2. But here it is drop down 2. Now this time what I'm doing, I'm just saying whether the processor is available or process is blank. Now I'll say del, and I can see all the available processors. So device, say the one as probably i5 processor 3427 or 3417. Where is that? There's here it is. And I can always say the uh, processor as the another processor. I can switch the processors. Okay, that is how. How could I just do remove the selection as I need to make the control as such a way that a reset now here rather than that a reset drop down one. Now if I just say this, see that? Now I can reset that as drop down one and drop down two also. Also the text box, text device ID. Now if I just say that, there it is. Okay. Now I'll say del related information. Under that 3137U, it's not available. 3127, no idea what it is. So what are the other processors I have? So this is how I can change the behavior of my uh, gallery. Did you notice that I'm able to show everything, or I'm able to show only the selected? Is this what you wanted to see, Manoj? No problem. This was the homework, my friend. 3317. Where are you? There it is. Yep. This one probably. Okay. Any doubts so far? Okay. Note down the homework. Homework is I wanted you to create a app in such a way that show the drop downs and also show the farm to be available. Also, I want you to explain me as and when I ask you. Okay. I want you to show me in a different tiling. I have created this on the row orientation, right? I want you to create on the tiles, or I want to create on the flexible height. Okay. Not on the row. I want you to create a app with all the uh, three approaches. One is a horizontal, other one is tile, and the other one is row orientation. Last but not least, flexible height also. Every screen I want you to create with filter option, the filtering option. Also, when you select a particular record, it has to take user onto item details with the form and submit the data, provide the notification, and take the user back to the detail screen or the row screen or whatever the gallery screen you are naming it as. Clear? Any questions? You have to do it for every screen, sir. Why, sir? It's not possible, sir. Thank you, sir. Three screens with different gallery styles and take the user onto the farm screen, update and take the user back to gallery screen. So typically speaking, your app should consist of 6 screens. Each and every screen should have one farm, and each and every screen should come back, the farm screen should come back to the respective gallery screen. Okay, here I am getting back to scr row. So when I just come here and go on to the farm screen, I should come here to gallery horizontal screen only. That is how I wanted to see. Basically, three orientation, in fact four orientation. One is style orientation, horizontal orientation, row orientation, flexible height orientation. And each and every orientation I should have one farm screens. And when I select submit, or when I click on submit, it should take me back to where I had come from. Got it? Any questions? Okay, as the format goes,